So I'd like to take a moment to say a few words on behalf of all audio engineers.
At McRae Music.
Hey, how y'all doing? All right, so most of what I'm going to say here is related specifically to audio engineering in a live setting, but these principles can be applied to studio environments as well. And it's about treating your audio engineer with respect and having patience for them and giving them grace when there are issues, okay? In an audio environment, inevitably, there's going to be issues, okay? There's just gonna be. There's going to be frequency issues. There's going to be times where there might be feedback. There's going to be level issues. There's going to be times when you need more in your monitors as a performer. There's going to be times when stuff needs to be fixed. And I need you to have patience and to have grace with your audio engineer. Understanding, and I'll give you a few reasons in a few moments, but first thing I want you to understand is being an audio engineer is really a very thankless job. If you really think about it, it's a thankless job. How many times have you seen people coming out of a concert, a venue, a service, or whatever, and the conversation is, man, that sound was great. Man, that audio, man, whoever was working that sound, woo. Now, if you're in the field, if you're an engineer yourself, or if you're a performer or a singer or whatever, you might do that, right? But if we're honest, most of the time, the only time people are paying attention to the audio engineer is when there's a problem. The only time y'all looking at us is when something's wrong, right? There's something going on with the sound. It's not good. It's not the way it needs to be. That's the only time the audio engineer really is getting attention, which is honestly the way that it probably should be, because as an audio engineer, our goal is to be invisible, right? Our goal is to create an environment where you're not even thinking about the sound, right? You're just able to hear and enjoy your favorite singer or hear the preacher or whatever it is that's going on. And you're able to just forget about the fact that there's a microphone or a sound system to begin with, right? So we understand that, but it is still a very thankless job, all right? And so you want to, and also I acknowledge that there are cases where the audio engineer is trash. I get that. And when I say that, I don't mean in terms of their skill, I mean in terms of their attitude, in terms of how they're interfacing with the artist, in terms of them being grumpy or having an attitude or not wanting to fix stuff. I totally get that. But I want you to know that the majority of engineers, we really are trying to do a good job for you. We're really trying to make it so that you can be your best as the performer, as the person on stage with the microphone. We're really trying to make sure that it's a great environment, a great show, a great time, all right? And so because of that, here's some reasons why you want to treat your audio engineer with respect, because thankfully this has not happened to me. I have been able to work with some really good people, but I have seen, especially in a church setting, situations and environments where there's an issue and the audio engineer is embarrassed over the microphone, is called out over the microphone, has been downright rude to and spoken harshly to over the microphone. I want to give you some reasons why you probably don't want to do that. All right, reason number one, your audio engineer is probably managing more things than you have considered. In today's day and age, unless we're talking about a top flight, high level tour where they have money to hire multiple engineers to handle multiple things, especially in a church environment, you probably only have one main engineer. And that one main engineer is handling front of house, meaning the things that the audience is hearing. They are handling the monitors, meaning the things that the stage and the band are hearing, right? Which is really two completely separate mixes, sometimes three completely separate mixes, depending on how, complex your stage setup is, right? And then in today's day and age, they're also managing often the live stream mix, right? So there are lots of different things that are being managed right now. So when you have an issue, and I know you are performing and you need more kick in your monitor, I know you do. You need more vocal in your monitor. And I get it. I'm on both sides of it. I'm in a unique position because I'm a professional audio engineer, but I'm also a professional singer, producer, artist, preacher, teacher. I do a lot of stuff on both sides. So I understand how important it is having the stage right and having the microphones right and all that kind of stuff is as a performer. I totally get it. But just understand that your audio engineer is probably managing more things than just trying to get more kick into your stage monitors. And give it a little patience. I promise you we're getting around to what it is that you need fixed so that you can perform well for those who you're performing for. So that's the first thing, is understand your engineer is probably managing a lot of stuff right now. Okay, give him a little grace, give her a little grace. Second thing that you need to understand is your issue, and I know this is hard for you to believe, might not be the most important thing that needs to be dealt with right now. In the grand scheme of things, I know as a performer, your monitors are super important to you, but it's not the highest thing on the list in terms of priority. I'm sorry, it's just not. Number one on the list is front of house. Okay? If the audience can't hear, what are we here for? Right? If the audience is having a bad experience, you are having a bad show. Right? If you got hundreds or thousands of people, they need to hear. So we need to, if there are issues, we need to deal with those issues first. Okay? Second on the list in today's day and age is probably the live stream mix. Because again, if you got hundreds or thousands of people online who have tuned in to see what you're doing, probably want them to be able to hear and have a pleasurable experience. So we need to make sure we're troubleshooting that. And then thirdly, we can get to your monitors. And frankly, even in that, there is a rung or there is a list of priority. If you are the drummer, getting more bass in your monitor is not the first priority. My first priority is the lead vocal. Lead vocal is king. And this is true in live and studio. Lead vocal is king. I need to make sure that the lead vocalists and the supporting vocals have what they need in their monitors, and we're going to get to you. So the point is, again, have some patience. We recognize that you're having an issue, but please understand and have a little humility to understand that maybe your issue is not the most pressing thing right now. We're going to get to it. I promise you we are. But give us a little grace, give us a little space, give us a little time, and please be respectful when asking for or requesting that things be changed in your monitor mix. All right. The third reason why you want to have some grace and be respectful to your audio engineer is the issue that is going on might not be as easy of a fix as you think. Audio engineering, especially in a live environment, is such a complex thing that it might not be as simple as moving a fader or pressing a button or unmuting something or unsoloing something. There are so many different things that could be going on. There could be cable issues that are happening. There could be frequency issues that are happening. There could be interference issues. If you got a lot of wireless stuff going on, there could be interference things that are happening. And frankly, it could be a situation where we don't know what the problem is and we're trying to fix it. And frankly, sometimes the problem is coming from the actual performer. It could be you are in too close proximity to a monitor. It could be, as a preacher or singer, you're doing that thing which I hate, where you're covering the top of the microphone like this, right? Which creates all kinds of issues that I won't get into now. We could do a whole separate video and talk about polar patterns and what covering the top of the microphone does. But there could be things you are doing that's causing the issue, right? So it might not be as simple as, oh, the audio engineer, it doesn't care. Oh, he or she's not paying attention. Why won't they give me more in my monitor? Why won't they unmute my mic? It could be a lot of things that's going on. I just was in a setting, just to give you an example, I was just in a setting in a theater environment just this past weekend where we did one show. Everything was great with all the wireless lavs. We had live microphones. Everything was great. We go to do sound check for the second show, and the main character's lav is not working, and we can't figure out why, because it was working before perfectly fine. Couldn't figure out why. The audio engineer, I was in more of a supportive role of doing other things, but the main front of house engineer and we were working together, couldn't figure out why. Long story short, turned out that the way it was set up is there was a handheld microphone and a lav that were on the same receiver. And the way it was set up is if the handheld microphone was on, it would cut off the lav mic. Well, unbeknownst to us, somebody had went in the back and cut on that handheld microphone. And so the lav, though it was set up correctly, everything was fine. We had sound checked it. We'd done a whole show at work. It wasn't working, right? And it took, thankfully we were able to catch that during our sound check and not during the show, but it took a good 15, 20 minutes to trace down what the heck the issue was, okay? So thankfully we were able to catch it, we were able to fix it, and the show went on without a hitch. But that is just goes to show you it's not always as simple as you think. And sometimes we don't know what's going on, and we're doing our best to trace down the problem and figure it out. Give us some space, give us some time. I promise you, we're getting to fixing the issue. All right, reason number 4, why you want to treat your audio engineer with respect and give patience and grace to them is, and this is especially for my church folk, did you have a proper sound check? Did you have a sound check at all? Did you show up for sound check? Because see, a lot of the issues, especially when it comes to monitors, sound check is the time where we could focus on you. All right, as an audio engineer, sound check is really the time where because the audience isn't there, this is the time where I could focus on you as the performer. We can get your monitors right. We can get the stuff in the monitors that you want in there. We can get the stuff out that you want out. We can deal with all those issues, band. We can get all your stuff together. We can make sure your talkbacks are right. Sound check is the time to do that. If A, you did not show up for sound check, or B, there wasn't a sound check, and that happens so often in church, okay? Because if the service or the concert or the event starts at 7, you can't have sound check at 6 because the doors are opening at 6 or 6:30. So you really need to be having sound check at like 5 o'clock or earlier, okay? In order to have a proper sound check, because it takes time to be able to get through all the things that you need to get through. So that's my question to you. If you're having issues and you're upset at the audio engineer, let me ask you something. Before you get in the microphone and you say something rude, let me ask you, did you have sound check? Did you show up for sound check? And did you go all out during sound check? Or did you creep in, everything starts at 7, doors open at 6:30, you and your singers crept in at 6:25. Well, you're not gonna get a proper sound check. You weren't there. So guess what's happening? Your set, your show is your sound check. The sound check is happening right now. So you gotta be patient. And most of the time, even in top flight, high level, super professional, large budget tours, if you would notice, the mix progressively gets better throughout the show. Not too long ago, my wife and I went to the reunion tour with Kirk Franklin and Ty Tribbett and the Clark Sisters. Amazing show. And even there, it's not that the mix started off bad. It started off good because obviously they had all kinds of sound check. They had weeks of rehearsal, right? All top level tour. Right, so it didn't start off bad, but as an engineer, I could notice the mix progressively getting better throughout the show because that's what we're doing. We're engineering, we're adjusting, we're accounting for different things, we're making things better throughout the show. So if you didn't show up for sound check, guess what? The beginning of that show, finna be rough because that's your sound check, bro. That's your sound check, sis. So something to consider. Reason number 5, why you want to be respectful to your audio engineer is because we control your show. We are in control. We are in control. Have you ever thought about that? Like, would you go to a restaurant and go and be real rude to the chef who's preparing your food? That probably wouldn't be the best idea, because some horrible things could happen to your food that you're going to pay for later on, right? Well, your audio engineer controls your show. I don't care how good of a singer you are. I don't care how good of a preacher you are. I don't care how good of a performer you are. All those people in that room aren't going to hear you if the sound ain't right. And if you get up and you want to be rude and you want to be disrespectful and you want to say things over the microphone to draw attention to the audio engineer, let me tell you something. If you catch that audio engineer on a bad day, or that audio engineer is fed up already, or they just don't care, you're going to have a real rough time. Let's see how good you sound if I mute your mic. Let's see how good you sound if I pull all your vocals out of the monitors. How about that? Oh, you're fussing at me because the vocals ain't right in the monitors? Okay, how about we turn the monitors off? How about we do that? How's that going to work out for you, right? Probably want to not do that. Okay, because you might have an audio engineer who's going to be professional and going to just take it on the chin and carry on anyway. You might have an audio engineer that'll shut the board off and leave. Especially when in a church setting, let's be honest, you probably aren't paying us much to be there in the first place. So, let's keep that in mind. All right. You want your show to go well, berating your audio engineer, making your audio engineer angry, or putting more pressure on them, because again, it's already a thankless job. We already are managing a bunch of stuff. We already might not know what exactly the issue is. We're trying to work on it. We're doing our best, and now here you go on the microphone yelling at us. That's even if it doesn't make the engineer angry and make them do something like what I just mentioned, it adds extra pressure. It adds extra. Now people are turning around. Sometimes the audience might not even know, because front of house sounds good. It's your monitor that's messed up. So the audience might not even know there's an issue. Now you're drawing attention to it. Now everyone's looking at us. It's making us sweat more. It's making us harder to think straight. It's not going to help the situation, right? It's not. Be patient. Be patient. Be respectful. Be respectful. We all grown here. You don't know the state of mind of that man or that woman that's working that board. All right, let's be respectful. It's going to work out much better for you that way, I promise you. All right, and the last thing, and the last reasons why you want to be respectful to your audio engineer and treat us with patience and with grace, I mean this with the utmost respect. You can't do what we do. You can't. You don't. If you could do what we do, you would probably be back here doing it. And frankly, if we let you back here, if we said, hey, come on back here and fix it, you probably, if you were honest with yourself, you probably would not know where to begin. If we told you what to do, if we told you what to do, if we said, hey, bring down the gain on the on monitor 3 2 dB, you probably might not even know how to do that. What's a monitor? A dB? What? How do I do that? All right. So because of that, have respect for the fact that there's knowledge that we have on our end that you might not have. It's like taking your car to, it's like when I take my car to the car repair place, right? To the mechanic. I don't know nothing about what's going on under the hood. I could check the oil. I could do maybe one or two things, but I don't know anything about fixing a car. So why am I going to go in the mechanic shop and be in there fussing them out and having an attitude and being angry because things are taking longer than I thought, or things maybe are more expensive than I thought? That doesn't make sense because I don't have the knowledge. If I had the knowledge, guess what? I wouldn't bring it to the mechanic. I'd do it myself. All right. And so what do? I take my car to a mechanic that I trust, and then I trust what they're telling me, even if what they're telling me is not what I want to hear. So hire an audio engineer that you trust, and then trust that audio engineer, because what we're doing is probably beyond the knowledge that you have. All right, I hope that was helpful, both to you as performers and also to you if you're an audio engineer that's watching this and you've been shouting amen. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. We got lots more content coming. There's lots of content that has happened already. Go back and watch that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in another video. All right? Peace.